Welcome back to Mac Talks. Football and Arsenal have won their game against Sporting Club de Football, the first leg of the quarterfinal in the Champions League, and a massive win for the Gunners. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The game went as exactly as I said it would go. I said it would not be a good watch. It would not be a good game of football, and that's basically what we got. It was a very cagey affair. In that first half, it was a lot more physical in my opinion than I thought it would be. But it was exactly as I said. Like it was a quite a bit boring game in that first half. There was no incentive. There was from either of that of the sides. Like both were a bit more cautious, trying to make sure that they don't make a mistake. I think Sporting started really good in that first 5 to 10 minutes, where they had a good chance as well. David Raya again making that crucial save. Whenever he plays, he makes he makes his presence felt every time you need him. He comes up with a big save every no matter what the competition is. And again tonight, that save was huge for in context of the game, because Sporting were very reluctant to come out and try to have a go at Arsenal. So if they would have scored at that time, I mean, they would have even sat back even further than what they did to already in the game. Their plan was quite simple. They wanted to sit back and they wanted to frustrate Arsenal, and they wanted to hit Arsenal on the counter, and it worked for a couple of times. They came very close, and as I said, Raya making that amazing save, but I think they were not really able to take advantage of their chances, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think Arsenal were unlucky in that regard as well. Arsenal in that half were really poor. I'm being very honest with you. There was no cohesiveness. There was nothing from Arsenal. No intricate passing was there. It felt like it was a disjointed effort in my opinion, and nothing was created that that well as in that first half. We hit the crossbar from a midway corner, but apart from that, I think there was nothing big created from Arsenal. It felt quite flat, if I'm being very honest with you. And as I said, I had a feeling it was going to be like that. But in credit to Arsenal, and I think credit to Arteta as well, but especially the players, in that second half, they came out and it felt like it was a completely different game, if I'm being very honest with you. Arsenal were more dominant on the ball. They were a bit more fast in their passes, and the rhythm was there in that second half, which we completely lacked in that first half. In that second half, we created more chances. We were much better on the ball and off the ball as well. The movement between the players was very good. We were getting that quick passing going on, and I think it helped. It started to frustrate Sporting, and we were able to push them back in their own half, and there was a very few counter attacks in that second half from Sporting. They really didn't offer that much. We score a goal courtesy of Martin Zubimendi. It gets rolled offside, but you could just feel it, that Arsenal are getting closer and closer, and if there was going to be a team that's going to score a goal, it was going to be Arsenal, and it ended up being Arsenal that scored a goal. And Kai Havertz again, great ball from the deep, and Kai Havertz, at the right place, a great first touch to hold the ball and sets himself and places it, in the back of the net, right underneath the goalkeeper's hands. I think it was a very good goal. The composure from Kai Havertz, in that situation, it was right. And at 91st minute, you need a cool head on your shoulders in that moment to make sure that you don't miss, and he doesn't. He really has that. You really understand why Arteta loves him so much. And there have been a lot of important big games where Kai Havertz has stepped up and he has scored goals for Arsenal. And today again, we needed that after what has happened the last couple of games. Losing the Carabao Cup final, losing the quarterfinal to Southampton. So it was a much needed win for Arsenal, and it is sort of a performance that would help the players mentally, and it sort of calms the nerves of a lot of the fans as well. If we would have drawn that game as I predicted, I went for a 1-1 draw in that game because I thought it was going to be a lot of quite a tough game, and it was a tough game. It was not an easy game, but if it would have been a draw, I think it would have further anguish the fans, and the noise from outside would have been quite a lot as well. So it was a much needed win, and as I said, in my opinion, I think Arsenal deserved to win the game, because I think we were far superior to Sporting in that second half. I think we created more chances, and again, in that second half it felt like we were trying to win the game and Sporting were basically trying to hold on, and they did not want to lose the game. I think that's what their mindset was in second half. The difference between the two teams clearly showed in that second half, and the subs that Arteta made, bringing on Havertz, that was very good. Dauman and Martinelli, and you could see the changing happening, and I think that was very important for Arsenal. And it's a big win. Moving on to the next leg, next leg. At the Emirates, we already have a 1-0 lead. I think it's going to be very tough for Sporting to get a result at the Emirates against us. So I think it's a massive win. If you're a Sporting fan, if you're a Sporting player, you would feel heart broken at the moment. They played really well, as I said, in that first half. Second half, they defended very well. Whenever Arsenal tried to attack, they made sure the blocks were there. The goalkeeper had a good game as well. He made a couple of good saves there, but to concede right at the last moment, I think it was quite a what's the word I want to use? It was quite heartbreaking, but it was sort of a goal that they could have stopped. It is a great run from Kai Havertz, but basically the defender, the one who's marking him, completely loses him, and it gives Kai the chance to go ahead and score the goal. So it's a big blow for Sporting. They need to work really hard in that second leg to get something out of it, and to somehow continue their dream of Champions League this season. I think that the tie is not over yet. I would still say, going with this, even with a draw, even at 0-0, I would have said Arsenal, would have been in a really in a good position coming to the second leg at the Emirates. But now with a 1-0 lead, going to at the Emirates in that second leg, I think Arsenal in a much a better position, and I think it will be. I would be really surprised, if I'm being very honest with you, that if Arsenal don't qualify for the semi-finals after this performance, after this result, because I think Arsenal are going to score at the Emirates, when I don't think Sporting are going to be able to score that many goals at the Emirates that they stop us from qualifying. So I think it's a massive result for Arsenal, and at the one that they needed. And for me, it's a giant foot towards the semi-finals of the Champions League for the Gunners. And unfortunately for Sporting, I think it's a big blow to them, and I don't think they are going to qualify. So yeah, that's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Arsenal's performance, what you guys thought of Sporting's performance, and do you think Arsenal have done enough to qualify for the next round, or do you think Sporting still have a chance? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the season, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.